Good morning, YouTube. My name's Dr. Renée Ostertag.
I'm Dr. Robyn Gisbert.
And we're excited to have you here. Today, we are going to explore what to do if you can relate to a tight neck and a heavy head. So that's what we're talking about today. And we're joining you together for the first time from a different environment because it's a little busy back here, but we're teaching at Children's Hospital today, some workshops, and the way the timing worked out. We're being flexible and nimble and adjusting. Adapting. Sometimes you got a plan and then life has a plan. Can you shift? Not if your neck is locked up. Or not as well anyway, not as comfortably. So who are you? And where are you coming in from? Where in the world are you? We'd love to hear from you. We do like engagement. It's an enjoyable experience when there's back and forth dialogue. So come on into the conversation. We do these lives because we are committed to adventures and exploration, and that space between mind and body can be confusing and scary. So we like to bring as much clarity, safety, empowerment to that place and have a lot of fun along the way. Good morning, Michelle from Castle Pines. Hello, Tia. Good to see you both here. And who else is here? Let us know. Robyn's going to do a little character improv for us. Halloween is coming.
Yeah. Halloween's coming. And sometimes you feel more like Frankenstein with the stiff head and stiff neck, or maybe even a zombie from Thriller. And in health, we really want to see our head be able to move on our body, or the body move, shake it, with the head in a more still position. A little less Frankenstein and a little more wiggle and freedom of movement. As we talk this morning and share these exciting exercises with you, a reminder, we're both doctors of physical therapy. We're licensed here in the state of Colorado, and we're here today for education and your entertainment. So not medical advice, and if you need medical advice, please seek a medical professional in your area. If you're in Colorado, local, we're here for you.
So, can you relate to the stiff neck syndrome?
Do you have any Frankenstein moments?
They're not fun, my friends. They are not fun. So, we are in this series about how to regulate your nervous system. What does that even mean? And it's something I've been thinking about lately. The nervous system, most people think about it as this information superhighway that's communicating data and information and electrical impulses to and from brain to body. And that is correct. And my sweet friend Helmut here.
There.
He's got a little fragmentation going on. But this is a mechanical, physical thing. In fact, if you take your hands and put it on your head, you're literally putting your hands around a structure that is responsible for your entire life. Everything about the way you are, the way you believe, the way you relate, the way you move is because of this. And it's a physical thing. And this physical thing is attached to the spinal cord and the nerves that go into your arms and legs. And those are physical things. When I do this, I'm actually stretching and moving the physical structure of my nerves. Why is this important to the electrical features of the nervous system? Imagine a house. It's got a beautiful yard, gorgeous flowers, big, tall sunflowers. And one day, one starts to look a little wilted. And then the next day, it gets worse. And the next day. And then within 2 weeks, all your flowers are dead. That's so sad.
Hmm.
And that is a metaphor for what can happen in the nervous system. If there's a kink in the hose that goes from the house to the flowers, you may or may not know the hose is kinked. You know the flowers are dead. And we can get kinks in the physical hoses of our nervous system that disrupt the electrical flow to the flowers, metaphorically speaking. So if you don't get enough variable movement, if your brain isn't sitting properly in the cerebrospinal fluid and blood flow of your cranial vault and your tissues in your body, you can get these little kinks in the tubes, and that can show up downstream in the flowers of your life in the form of mental health, physical health, relational health issues. You name it, it all comes back to this.
And that's the good news.
Yay! Isn't that so fun?
It's good news to me, because if the way that my head and is moving, and the movement of my head that carries this big brain through space, if it can get stiff and rigid and cause some problems in my thinking or my feeling or my movement, then I can do something about that. So if I can move, then I can have an impact in a positive direction on my thinking, my feeling, and my moving and my relating. So to me, that's good news.
It is good news, and I'm so happy I can't stop wiggly dancing, because we're going to show you a way to get some water to these hoses and restore for you a sense of agency. Yes, this is stuck and it sucks, for sure. Validate that. And there are things you can do to make it better. And we are going to show you today an exercise called B.R.U.S.H.
Mhm.
B.R.U.S.H. Credit to Kenda Fuller with South Valley Physical Therapy. This clinic is here in Denver. If you are local and have any problems with dizziness, imbalance, vestibular concerns, they are the people you want to see, because Kenda was the creator of this exercise. Her husband had, I think, a vestibular neuritis, wasn't getting better. Medical help wasn't helpful. Maybe you can relate to that. So Kenda was like, hey, this makes sense to me. Gave him this exercise, and it helped so much reduce his neck pain and dizziness and inner ear concerns.
Yeah.
Quick analogy, and then we'll
teach you an exercise.
Called B.R.U.S.H, created by South Valley Physical Therapy. So picture this rag. This actually was hanging on a hook, and it was there for days. It was wet, and then it dried. And look how stiff this is. Can you go grab me that water bottle?
Yeah.
This is what can happen in the physical structures of how your brain and spinal cord interact right back here. If you get hung up on something and don't unhang yourself. So the B.R.U.S.H exercise is kind of this example of like, okay, let's get it some circulation. Wet this rag down, right? Give it some fluid, give it some hydration, give it a little bit of movement, and then it starts softening, and it gets more fluid and flexible. And then before you know it, it has a lot more capacity to move, which neurologically speaking gives you a lot more options in your life and the downstream effects of your thinking, feeling, and moving. So let's do some B.R.U.S.H. I'm going to show you the clinical version, and then Robyn will show you a little more practical, easy to do in your life version. Okay.
All right.
Come join us.
Come with me. We're going to follow Renee over to the wall, and she's going to show you this exercise called B.R.U.S.H.
This is an exercise that I've again, I got it from South Valley. It works really well if you have any tension, stiffness, rigidity, dizziness issues, headaches. It's a way to bring some flexibility in a very supported way, but it can also feel a little scary because this will undo your body's protective defensive mechanisms. So very gentle, very powerful. Give yourself a lot of space for grace. The full version, you get a towel and you wrap it up like this. And if you're lucky, it's a loving Valentine's Day towel that says, "Love lives here." Isn't this sweet, friends? You can even pick what towel you put. You don't need a towel, but you can have one. And you roll it up, you get a little washcloth. And this is going to be like a pillow for your forehead. I'm going to stand here, Robyn, and I'll have you stand there and shoot this way. So here's my forehead pillow. I'm going to put it here. Now, I'm going to evoke the posture of a ballerina. Think long and tall. My head is like a balloon. It's floating up. And I'm going to walk towards the wall and rest my forehead against. And I'm going to scream so you can hear me, but I'm going to rest my forehead here. Now I'm going to walk my feet backwards. And I'm going to keep my head still and rotate my body. Robyn, will you just say that again so people can hear it clearly?
Yeah, so Renee's got her head on the towel. She walked her feet back, and with her head still, she's gently rotating her body side to side.
This looks really easy. It's not for many people. So just know that, but it's a great way to unlock that zombie neck, that frozen, rigid, stiff lizard brain muscle response. When you're here, you can play with big range or tiny range. You can play with speed. You can go fast. You can go slow. Keep that long, tall ballerina neck. Don't sink into it. Keep that. That's what's going to unwind these structures the most. And if you like, add some breath awareness while you're doing it. Robyn, can you just say?
So Renee's just adding some deep sighs, some breath. Playing with speed, playing with range. You can move big, you can move small. You can move fast or slow and add a breath with your body rotating underneath a stable or still head. This unlocks your neck and your brain.
This will let you move with more flexibility, meaning you don't have to move through the world like this. And the more flexible you are, the more variable regulated input your neck gives to your ears and your eyes. And so it takes you out of tunnel vision. That's what happens with trauma and stress. It makes us go tunnel vision. This is a way of opening up and seeing more of the world and all of its possibilities. Now, if you don't want to do the towel and the wall, and by the way, this was great. The other day I was at the doctor's office. They were 20 minutes late. I was really frustrated. I just went and did some brush and it settled me down. Robyn's going to show you now a little more practical, in the moment, what to do.
If you're not able to get up, put your head on a wall, maybe you're in a meeting or even at a dinner table or a lunch table, and you're thinking, I want a little more freedom in my movement. You can take that same ballerina posture by just being upright and tall, elongating yourself here, lifting, lifting, lifting. And then while keeping the eyes and the head forward, you can rotate your shoulders underneath this head that's not moving. And one way to know you're doing that is even to let your hands slide from hip to knee. Switch hip to knee. Slide your hands hip to knee. You can add the breath, just like Renee did in standing. You can play with speed. I'm going really slow here, but you could go fast. Swish, swish, swish. You could go big movements. And you could do little shimmy, shimmy, shimmy of your shoulders underneath a stable head. It's like wringing out, lubricating that washcloth or this connection of your brain to the rest of the body and the nerves. So that's a variation of brush. Your body's rotating under a stable head that you could do in sitting if you prefer. And fun to try them both. There's a experiment for you.
I find Robyn's version very helpful when I've been sitting at a computer for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I get into these little fight states of frustration with technology and people, and I'm just ready to fight. And then my physiology gets locked up, and my body is now in fight mode, which keeps sending signals to my brain. I'm not okay. You're not okay. The world is not okay. Defend, protect. And this is such an easy way to get yourself out of jail. There is ways. I had a patient one time. How is this landing for you, by the way? Have you tried it? What do you notice? Michelle saying, fabulous. You have alternative methods. There's always choice.
Always choice. Everything is figure outable. We can figure out a way to get this head and neck unlocked so that you're only Frankenstein if you want to be.
This is such an easy thing to play with. You can just do tiny rotations with your shoulders. You can do the big, like Robyn was showing with the hand slide. The key is, and I caught myself, the head was just sort of swinging along with it to unlock. You really want to have that visual input. And that's what's nice about a computer monitor, is that the reflection often lets me see my own head or a Zoom screen, and I can keep my head still.
Oh, and Tia says, it's interesting that my head didn't want to stay in one place at first. Yes, it's like the easier way. Oh, well, takes a little intentionality, and that feedback is great. Noticing that the head wants to move with the body or with the shoulders, and we have choice. We can choose, okay, ballerina posture, head still, just the shoulders.
This is one thing I definitely wish I knew and applied earlier in my journey of learning how to regulate my own nervous system. And it reminds me of a patient that I had years ago who was the epitome of that stiff neck after a car accident. And she said to me after a few visits, Renée, it feels like my body's protection that used to keep me safe has become my prison. It's so poetic and bittersweet and heartbreakingly beautiful, because unbeknownst to ourselves, our bodies get in these habits, and then it's just a thing that you just always do, and that's how it is. Can anybody relate to what I'm talking about? As we shift towards closing out our time, Robyn, what do you have to the QOP?
Oh, questions and opinions. Are there any questions about this exercise or other things? Any sharing from our group? We love the feedback in these lives. Thank you for chiming in, tuning in. You're also welcome to comment below if you're noticing something. This is helping you. Let us know below in the comment section. If you have a question, ask it below in the comment section. We will get back to you. Oh my gosh, Ellen says you can do it walking. Oh,
she asks, can you do it walking?
Oh yeah, you can. Yes, you can. It's a little more advanced. But yeah, you can kind of try to walk slow and move the shoulders, but you can absolutely do this walking. This idea of keeping the head still while you're moving. What a fun variation on theme.
And the bonus of that, it makes me feel like a runway model, like the way they swish their hips while they're walking and they have their head pointed. You do that same thing with your shoulders while you're walking.
Get on the catwalk, baby. Okay, great question. At the wall, legs just one step back. You can play with that. You take a step back so that you have enough space for your shoulders to move. So Tia, that might be a small step for you one day, and another day it might be a bigger step or 2 little steps. You can play with how far from the wall.
There's something about the way I tend to teach physical therapy exercises where you are an N of 1. So there is this invitation to tune in to what feels true and correct for you. I can offer guidelines, and you can receive those guidelines and you can follow them strictly if that works for you, or you can be a little bit flexible according to your own body's design. So invitation to listen to that intuitive, how far does it feel right? Because if you get too far out, it puts a lot of pressure on the head. If you're not far out enough, you run into the wall when you do that. So play with your shape and size and what works for you there.
I love, Elise says, less Frankenstein, more freedom. So great.
Good to see you, Elise. Yeah. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Questions, opinions, plan. Please feel free to put your questions and opinions in the comments. The plan is we're coming back next week. This is a 9-week-long series on the nervous system. So tell a friend to tell 2 friends, and we'll grow this community in a beautiful, organic way. This is Dr. Robyn Gisbert. She has her own YouTube channel that you can follow. We will put it in the comments
below.
And great to see you. We look forward to being with you again next week.
Thanks for being here.
Take care, everybody. Go forth with your Frankenstein. Oh!